hope everybody's doing good. I hope everybody's doing well today. Hello, I am back with my first live in the new year. My name is Yolanda. I am locating Cozy, and this is a broad chat. So thank you guys for joining me today. I'm excited. It's a new year. It's a new attitude. It's just getting things done and staying on focus on goals. I'm not going to go into that whole like my New Year's resolution. I'm not doing all that now. Instead, I have my goals and I plan on continuing on and elevating. Hey, so today I do have a special guest, and y'all know why in a minute. But I do want to say before I bring on my guest here that please do make sure that you do hit that like. So make sure you like and make sure you subscribe and make sure that you hit the notification bells so that you will know whenever I decide to upload something, marvelous. I have something really amazing to say, or when, I'm going to go live. So as I am here now. And so it's been a nice weekend. Yeah, and I've got to do like all kinds of holiday things, so I'll share more with that in a little bit. But thank you for coming on. I'm going to bring on my guests now because I'm really super excited, and then we're going to go through and say hello to the people that are here. So I wanted to bring on my special guest, Miss Jenee, the luxury vagabond.
Hi, everyone.
We seem to have a little background noise. Are we good now?
Let's see. Let me see. It might be on my end. Let me mute.
Just a sec. So while we waiting on Miss Jenee, let me just go ahead on here. So I just been updating in the background. Oh, okay.
How does that sound?
Oh yeah, better. There was just some kind of noise. Yeah, that sounds perfect.
I think it was air conditioning. So.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So a couple of things. One is, well, let me just go ahead and go over here and say hello to hey Bayesian Alpha. Hey Christine, are you back? I meant to text you earlier to see if you were back. Like I'm actually on air right now saying, Christine, are you back in Spain? Okay. We have all your business right now. But yes, Happy New Year. Thank you for joining. Yeah, okay, yes. So yes, we got to get together soon. I still haven't seen your apartment yet. But anyways, hey Jenee, how you doing, girl?
I am doing great. You know what? It's overdue for me to come and talk to you on your channel. It's way overdue.
I mean, now granted that I just started doing the interviewing thing, like what? That was back in, I want to say, August. Was it August, September that I actually started interviewing? I've been posting content, but because I think my first interview was like right after I got my residency here. Actually, no, my first. Okay, so yeah, I just started interviewing people like within the past couple of months.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah.
yes.
I have been posting content, but I have not interviewed. Like I would get on here and just be talking. Okay.
That's what we're gonna do today. We're just gonna be talking.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, so yeah, it's time. And so I literally, before the end of the year, that was one of the things that I was like, okay, you're gonna sit down and you're gonna like do a list of, like ideas of people that you want to talk to and share with. And, also within our group, which I'll go talk about that in a minute, is that I actually invited women to come that wanted to be interviewed because my whole goal was I want to meet you where you are. You don't have to have already started pet sitting. You don't have to have already, left the country or whatever. I want to, talk to them where they are, because sometimes talking to someone that hasn't made the definitive moves yet, it can be therapeutic in a way for other women, so they'll know that they're not alone, and that is the journey. And just because I'm interviewing people that have made some moves that have defined, like been just life defining, it doesn't mean that you have to be in that place in that new place before you can actually start talking about the journey. Like for Sean from Black State Global, like
Exactly.
me from HD Abroad. Yeah. Yeah, they're like, we ain't gone nowhere yet. I mean, they were doing things,
Yeah.
but they hadn't left the country yet before they started,
Mhm.
talking and sharing their experiences. So, anyways, that's why. So before
Yes.
we go down all the way in, what I like to do is ask just a couple of key questions, just a few little things I like to ask about. So one of the things is what's going on in my world, and I like to know what is going on in your world. What you been up to, girl?
Oh,
Just
you
it's
know
so,
what?
so
I'm gonna that's why I said I'm saying it's overdue, not because you have been doing interviews and have not reached out. It ain't because of that. It's just because we have history. We have history. We've been on, you know what I mean? So it's one of those
yes.
where because of that, I feel like I'm like, she didn't did so many things, and so many things has happened since she left, and since you know what I mean, since our lives have just continued to
Hmm.
evolve. So for me, it's really been I am a full-time freelancer, which I was a remote worker before, but now I have my own clients. So I have like a whole lot of stuff going on in a good way, in a good way.
Okay.
Yeah. And other than that, I took this opportunity the last, I think, week to really force rest because I've been doing a lot and I recognize that a lot of people know me for like I'm the self-care woman, like I'm like you need to care for yourself, and I notice
Mhm.
some habits on my part, Jenee's part, of not taking care of herself the way that I usually do. So I was forcing rest. So what's going on in my world is a reset of going back to the way that I know I need to be taking care of myself. That's what's happening.
Good. That's good. I like that. I wanted to check my note because I actually see. Okay, so here's the thing. I forget. And I literally just said to Jenee before we started, I was like, I don't even know what's going on in my world. I don't know. And I had the thought and I was like, oh, yeah, that happened. And now I've forgotten. I was
Mhm.
like, because I didn't write it down on my notes. But hold on just a second.
There's always stuff going on that we forget, as especially as the year goes on, right? Like
It's just
we
every
look,
day. It's like, yeah,
it's
we're just doing stuff.
we're
We
just doing
living.
stuff. Yeah, and we look up and we be like, "Oh, I forgot that happened." Like, "Oh, that just passed me by," but I was on to the next thing.
Yes, exactly. It's like just everyday living here. I know like we went last on New Year's Eve. That was really cool because we went to funny story. So at the Parque Grande, is it Jose? I forgot. It's anyways the big park here in
Okay.
Zaragoza, and they have a section that they did into like a I guess a lighting thing, like Christmas light, a holiday
Oh
lighting thing.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you pay to go in and stuff, and it's like I didn't know. I just remember my daughter being like, it was $15 or 15 euro a ticket, and my daughter was like, "That's expensive," and I was like, no, it's not. But anyways, but we went. So me and my daughter, my granddaughter, and my son-in-law, we went. And the thing was, it's like there was like 8 sections, and you follow it around, and
Okay.
like then each
Yes.
one they like stop and they tell like a little story time. Okay, so so you have like people that get to a certain point, and then you have somebody in character that's giving a little story about what they're about to
Oh.
see. And I was like, oh wow. So now it was all in Spanish. Okay, I'm working on it, but it was all in Spanish.
Hey, you look, I am like you. I've taken tours where it's just like whatever I can get out of the tour with my
Mhm.
limited Spanish is what I'm gonna get, but I'm not gonna not go on the tour. So I
Yeah,
hear you. Yes.
yes. So yeah, they were there and stuff, and there was like a little group, and people were like listening, and and then they were like, okay, and then people started clapping. I was like, oh, okay, okay, yeah. And then at some point they started laughing. I was like, ah.
And you do that enough, eventually you'll go and you will know when to clap before,
Yeah.
before they have like tell you when to clap. You'll be like,
Yeah, I
oh, I
think my
understood.
daughter needs to be
I
like, you know
understood.
what they say? I
No,
don't know.
follow the crowd. Follow
I
the
follow
crowd.
cues. I just follow the cues.
Oh, but I bet that was beautiful though. I mean,
Yes.
you know how I feel about like Europe and
It
their
really,
celebration.
really was. I'm gonna do a reel because I don't post like like I don't do like just regular posts of my family or of my granddaughter and stuff, but I can
Mhm.
create. But I really, it's like that's something that's on my list. Like I'm like, you've got to do that. You've got to create little reels because I have all this content. Like even like
Yeah,
when I was in Lisbon, and I have all this content just to post little shorts or reels or whatever, and I don't.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, you're gonna do a year-end review about your stuff. I haven't done it yet, but it is what it is.
We're gonna see if that happens on my end. So don't feel bad. I'm the same way. I'm looking at
Yeah.
everybody, they're posting like this is 2024 and it's all this stuff. And I'm like, I have same as you. I have content from December that and further back that I haven't even posted. And so to think that I'm
But
going to actually do a 2024 recap, I don't know if that's gonna happen.
so I was this is on my note here, so I can go ahead and insert this now. So I love your freaking content. I love your Instagram
Oh,
content. You you do
thank
way better
you.
than me.
I try to be out there, but I tell people, I say, don't get too attached. I mean, Jenee is just not, I am not consistent. And I'll say this, I'm not as consistent as I would desire to be, just because I put my
Mm,
energy elsewhere. But it's not that I don't enjoy doing it. Like I enjoy the like storytelling and letting people
yeah,
know this is what this neighborhood looks like, or this is what it's like to work remote in these areas to like inspire people because I do the same thing with other people, right? And I totally enjoy it. Like I love that people are posting where they go and like how much stuff costs and because my mind is always like expanding into stuff that maybe that's something I might want to try, you know?
yeah,
Or maybe not. So I like the storytelling aspect of Instagram or just social media in general. Not really on Facebook much, but I mean, I post from Instagram to Facebook.
yeah.
That being said, I love it. I love to see other people's content. I just, I need somebody to do my content. And
I
it will
was
be
just
out
look.
there.
I have actually. Okay, we're gonna go down a rabbit hole, but I was just
Yeah.
so proud because I actually created from some clips that some stuff that I had already posted on YouTube. I was
Yeah.
able to go into Opus Clips and create some clips, and now I have like a whole system kind of where I go and I have like my intro, outro, and music. My everybody knows my
Okay.
music now.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, you're gonna get better. So I created like I think 4 clips over the weekend.
Okay.
I should be doing way better stuff, but then also I was sitting down looking at. I've been watching. Yeah, I've been watching some random show, and I'm like, "Oh, that's
You're
a
doing that
beautiful
and
show."
watching the show.
Yes, I can multitask most of the time. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. But thank you
So the
for
other
loving on my
question I wanted,
yeah.
huh?
I said thank you for loving on my content. I do like to share it when
Yes,
I get
I
around to it.
love your content. Yeah, you do really good. I like it. And so the other question that I like to ask is, how are you locating your cozy? What are you
Oh,
doing?
it's
What are you
really
doing to
sweet.
make yourself happy, to please yourself, to put yourself first, to feel good
Yes.
in the moment about yourself? Please
Yes.
do share. Tell us.
Well, beyond my regular self-care stuff, which is like my face routine and my body scrubs and all that, I'm pretty consistent with that kind of stuff. It's really, Yolanda, it's really been forcing the rest, getting enough rest. That is something that should never be, I would say, never be a luxury of getting enough
Mhm.
rest. Um,
Oh,
you
that's
see what I'm
good.
saying? That should never
Mhm.
be a luxury. That is a necessity. It's not a luxury to get enough rest.
Yeah.
And so for me, locating my cozy is making sure that Jenee is rested. And then also I spend time outside a lot as much as I can. So I know y'all are in winter. I don't know where it's like the weather's like in Zaragoza. Like,
It's
are
cold.
you
Okay.
it's just cold, like you can't get out cold? Like
Oh, no, it's fun.
okay.
Actually, the funny thing is, because like my daughter, like when we went to go see the lights and everything, she's like, I'm
Mhm.
freezing. She's like, my feet are so cold.
Yeah.
I was feeling great. Postmenopausal in the wintertime right now. So I'm like, girl, I feel great. They were
Like,
like,
this
but
is
it's
perfect.
yeah, it was like down to 32 degrees. And I was like, as long as the wind is
Oh,
not like winding,
yeah.
I can, yeah, I'm bundled up and I'm like, what? I'm singing musicals outside.
Yes. Yes.
I'm
So
singing happy musicals. Yeah.
hey, but see, like you said, see that's so for me, locating cozy right now, mine is going back to getting my rest, but I am also like, I'll share this with you because I think I don't know, I might have shared it on Instagram or whatever, that
Okay.
every year I usually have a word of the year, like me and what I consider my sister, my manifestation partner. We have a word of the year for each of us
Mhm.
that, and sometimes a word comes to us, or sometimes it's a word that we know we need. Right. And it's almost like a theme for the year. And mine has been receive, because I have not, honestly, and I've talked about this, I think in my, I did a live on New Year's Eve. I did a live and I was talking about what came out of me kind of doing this life audit with Brandy Freely. I don't know if you follow her.
Mm, I don't think so.
Was that it's another Black woman on Instagram, and she's a writer. And out of that exploration before end of year, what came to me is that I can do a better job of receiving. That is the other side of giving. I do give a lot. And, you know, a lot of times we don't take compliments very well. If you notice that, that's kind of like a theme, right? Especially with women, like
Mhm.
we don't take compliments well. You know what I mean? Like we want to be the helper. We don't want to be the receiver. But I need to do more of the receiving, because each and every day in our life, we're receiving a lot that we don't notice. And
Yeah.
receiving is very much part of manifestation. So anyway,
Okay.
I've been saying yes to a lot of things. I'll be saying yes to a lot of things this year.
I like that. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, yes. Sometimes I may not want to say yes, and
Mm-hmm.
I might say it now. I may not make it, but I say yes to a lot of stuff, and then
You
at the last minute I might be like, "No, that's okay. I don't want to."
yeah.
Okay, but I keep myself open to
Yes.
saying
Yes.
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 To have, and I've had to actually do that. That's what I had to do a lot of in 2024,
Okay.
because I was like, I felt like I needed to really embrace this whole experience. I'm like, girl, if you're gonna
Mhm.
give up your apartment and not pay rent and be living out your suitcase and then move to Spain, you better be saying yes to things that are just about you.
You said yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You need to be all in. You need to be all
Yeah.
in.
The only thing I'm not saying yes to is jumping out of a plane or,
Right.
yeah, some things like that now.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, like, so, I mean, that's not going to be an issue because people got enough sense not to ask me that. Okay. So,
They're like, we know the answer to that. The answer is already no. Her face said no. Yeah, her face said no.
but I am, you know what? Something that you just said, and not receiving compliments. I actually just thought about, because I didn't know what my locating cozy was. How was I going to be locating? How am
Yeah.
I
How,
locating my cozy? I was
yeah.
like, I don't know. But you just actually said something that I actually embraced fully this past week.
Mm.
So I have, I'm on an assignment right now that's supposed to be like a month, and it's like turning into like 3 months or whatever, and
Okay.
it's great. I liked it because, so I had a client earlier last year that, just basically funded me being able to come to Spain and then not have to worry
Okay.
about my income. But
Yes.
that experience was challenging because before I left Houston, I went
Mm-hmm.
into the company itself like twice, and the vibe was just like, it was just over. I felt the heaviness of what I experienced when I left
Mm.
my last full-time
Really?
job back in
Because
2022.
we've
So
talked about you in the last full-time job. So you're saying
yes,
you got the same, you felt the
I got
same.
the same vibe, but the thing was, I wasn't affected because I was just came in that office twice. But the
Yeah.
people, the people in the office, you could just feel the negativity.
Yeah.
You could truly feel it was so palpable.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't even trying to extend that contract. I was like, no, that's okay. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're like, thank you. I was supposed to have you for a year, and
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah.
And that's,
Six
yes,
months.
6 months.
But
Yes.
yeah, but so I have this new contract, and I turned out some wonderful results because I do accounts receivable, and they hadn't had anybody touch their aging or do their, look at their numbers and everything and understand what the root cause issues were, like, in a while. So they had the new finance guy that came in, and he was like, I
Uh-huh.
need your help. And I was like,
Yeah.
I got you, boo. He gave me I mean, I'm still on the assignment. He was like, you have done amazing things. He was just so, like, just just putting upon me just so much glory and so
Yes.
much happiness. He was
Yes.
just like, I am so pleased because he got to report the numbers to, the board and all that stuff. And
Okay.
it's like, yeah. So it was just I was just soaking it up. He was just like, this just closed out, the end of the year, the end of our fiscal
Yes.
year has been,
Yes.
you've just made some major impacts and you've like found a root cause why we were having these issues, if the contract needed to be renegotiated, whatever it was. I was like, yes, tell me how great I am.
Yes. Tell me how great. Receive all of that. Receive all of that. And
Yes.
yes. And say thank you.
And don't be ashamed and be like, no, no, it's no big deal. It was a big deal. I did that.
Yes, I did that. Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Claim it. A lot of times we're like, oh, it was a group effort. It was a team effort. I know that's one I used to say all the time. It's like,
yeah,
I would take that compliment and either, like you said, diminish the value of it. Right.
Yes.
But what I didn't realize, let me tell you what I didn't realize. And I realize that like now, what I didn't realize is that I am robbing the person who's giving the compliment. I am robbing them of fully getting what they want out of giving that to me.
Yeah.
Right. By saying, oh, it wasn't that great or whatever. And it's like, they're like, I'm trying to give you this joy. I'm trying to give you this. And then I'm like, I don't want all of that.
And you guys know, like, we're going to get on topic, but if you know me, I'm like, squirrel. This is squirrel right here.
Do we have a topic?
Yes, we have a topic. We're going to get there. And the thing is, I remember there was a young lady, this was years ago, and I was working in the office, and it was funny, I really didn't care for the young lady, the coworker, but one day she paid me attention. I think it was like some picture that she saw of me, and she was like, God, that's a beautiful picture of you. And I said, oh, girl, I had to take like 15, 20 something pictures before I got to that one and stuff. And I remember she stopped and looked at me like, and I was like, oh, you're paying me a compliment. And I was just like, no, that's okay. Like, I just like hit it right back. Like, no, I can't take that.
Exactly. Okay? Exactly. And we just, it's just natural for us to do that. So I'm like you, I'm trying to, receive, be on the receiving end and take joy. Don't rob other people of joy, and be on the receiving end and experience joy as well. And be like, it goes around.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I thought I had done something and disconnected you. And I'm like, no, she's still here. Okay. So yes, that's how I'm locating my cozy. I am accepting whenever somebody praises me for what I've done, that I did awesomely.
Yes. Yes.
So, Jenee, tell us about you. Tell us all about, well, do the elevator pitch. Tell us about you. What are you about?
This is the elevator pitch. Look, you're not supposed to prep it, but I'm just saying that's what it is. Yeah. Like, I would usually say I'm Jenee, the luxury vagabond. Like, if you didn't know me, in my late 40s, I traded my cubicle for a passport, became a remote worker, and traveled the world as an international luxury property house sitter. That's really a big stretch from the way my life used to be. And now, all the ladies in the chat and anyone else that is watching, now I help other people do bold things in redesigning their life. That is what I do now. I take joy in that. I want to see people expand and reveal all the gifts that they have. I'll be like, y'all holding back. What y'all got? And I can help y'all get there. And I created a life hack starter guide to help you do that. Coaching sessions. This year, I am going to launch some retreats with my business partner. And then I also have a YouTube channel, like Yolanda. I have a YouTube channel. And on my YouTube channel, I share tips and stories and inspiration. And it's really for you to create a life that feels as good as it looks. How about that? It feels as good as it looks. Okay, right? Because you'd be looking on Instagram or whatever, and you'd be like, I want that life or whatever. Be like, girl, you don't know how that life feels. So I'm
putting your life hack starter guide here in the comments here.
Oh, yes. That is it's like 10 questions to ask yourself when you're getting started, or maybe when you're reassessing your life, because it always starts with self-reflection. Like all change starts with self-reflection. Sometimes we don't know that's what we're doing. We just kind of like, something ain't right. Something ain't right, or I'm not happy. That's kind of the beginning of self-reflection. You just got to dig a little deeper. That's all it is. So that is my elevator pitch, to encourage everyone else to live the life that they design for themselves, not one that society has created for them or circumstance has created for them. So
Yes, it's for us to make the steps, to take those steps to change. And people are like, wow, I can't believe you did that. That is amazing. I did not reinvent the wheel. I just had to find my own path. I had to find out what I was supposed to be doing. But
yes,
I didn't have to reinvent the wheel. I definitely looked to and understood and listened to other women, especially other Black women that have done it. Because
exactly.
we carry that need to please in a different way than other races.
Mm-hmm.
Based
We
on
really
maybe historical expectation from
mm-hmm.
the people within our family and also people outside of our community.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I wanted to ask you,
I was reading the comments.
When you focused on the legend, huh?
I said I was reading the comments.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm over there. Well, I'm
comments.
trying. I'm like, I got one eye, so if I'm gonna go back to the comments, I'm gonna start starring stuff in a little bit. But yeah, I'm like, I wish I could. Oh, Ross, she said she wish she could do a house sit. Okay, we're gonna come back to that. Okay. So for you, it's like you talk about, yes, designing a luxurious and have an authentic life. What did it feel like? What did it mean to you for you when you started to let go of those ideas of what the world, including our family, friends, maybe whoever stuff expected? What did that look like for you to be like, I'm going to shed that image and that future that says I'm supposed to be doing things this type of way? Was there like a catalyst or something that made you be like, oh yeah, this is it. I see me not putting up with this BS no more. Okay.
I don't know if there was like one event, because I really felt like in my own personal life, it was compounding over years. It wasn't like a one thing that made me feel like, look up one day and something happened and I'm like, oh, this is not the life that I kind of thought I would have at this age. It wasn't like that. It kind of went over time, that nagging, something is not right, compounded, right? And eventually I got enough of that to overcome the fear of, how do I change it? Because I was very much afraid of, you have to realize that's the only person, not that wasn't the only person that everybody else knew. That was the only person I knew, was the old version of me. That's the only person I knew, right? So other than when going back to like when you're a child or whatever, and you kind of remember, oh, I used to have these dreams about myself, or I used to have these, and even some of that was implanted. So you kind of have to start over. But what I'm saying is, it was very fearful for me. Like I had a great amount of fear in taking that on, but it's like I pushed through it because I felt like there was something on the other side that was worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of,
So
it's like they say,
you don't
feel
know
the fear
what
and
it
do it
is.
anyway. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And that's just the thing. Embrace that of, that you're supposed to be doing something else, but you're not quite sure what it is. And because again, society, and it's embedded in your brain that if you don't know what it is, then you just sit your butt there and not try to do anything else because you don't even know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's kind of like you're supposed to know. And it's like, well, if I've never explored, how am I supposed to know? If I've only been one version of myself for, I don't know, 30 years, like since a child, 30 years, I've been this version. And I know I feel like there's another version, or I feel like there's other things that I can, reveal about myself. And it's like, but how do I let that out? I don't even know what those things are. And then I have to explain to other people why I feel this way when they're comfortable with the person. you have to justify it. And they're
Yeah.
comfortable with the way, unfortunately, the way a lot of our relationships are set up is that people benefit from people staying in the same
Mhm.
whatever the same role, right?
Yeah.
We all benefit from certain people staying in certain roles and all that, right? Whether they're happy in it or not, we benefit.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like a domino effect. When you start to change one piece of the puzzle, you're either going to fall away or other dominoes are going to start to fall.
Yes.
And then other people are either they're going to start seeking that and changing, and maybe you get a more authentic relationship, or maybe the relationship falls away because they choose that role that they've determined that's the role they want to keep. Right now, I tell people we can choose how we want to be. I don't know. I don't I don't know if I have any evidence of this, but I truly feel like there are multiple versions of ourselves that exist. Like we have everything that we could want. It's already there, right? And we're just displaying, I don't know, the one we were taught to display, or we were displaying the one that circumstance let us display, or the one we're comfortable with displaying and it's not so fearful, or the one that's more acceptable, or like, but we can choose, okay, well, I want to try this other version. Let me open up that little gift. And maybe that's the one that feels right to me. And that's the one that may resonate and have me do more, I would say, work in the world. Because I don't want to go too deep into like relying on what our responsibility is as a human is to the rest of the planet, but we are all valuable. I have to tell you, we're all valuable. And people, and a lot of times we don't feel like we are. And so we're just like, we don't just stay in this little role. And it's like, there's something valuable in there, some gold that you're missing that you need to be sharing. You need to be sharing and your authentic self. So
it's so funny that you said about, like the different versions. I have been in like, and more recently, I think I've really come to think about it more, but I look at the life, when you look at some, like a movie analogy is like the fork in the road. And you're like, well, if I do it this way, then this will probably be the results. But then if I do this way, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I think I want to check it out. Or maybe I should just go straight ahead. So you have the forks in the road and you're like, I don't know. Do I just keep going down the same path? Or do I'm not trying to stick up my middle fingers when I do this.
Right.
But yeah, and I really do. And it's so funny because I will literally sometimes I'll overanalyze it because I'm like, well, if you make this decision, it's like me trying to get an Airbnb. It's like I have to go through too many steps because I'm like,
oh no, you got to look at 1,000. Yeah. You got to look at 1,000 Airbnbs.
Yeah, that's me. And so that's sometimes what I would do when I'm actually trying to make decisions, whether it's big decisions or little decisions. I'm like, or trying to find like a flight for something. It's like I have to go back and do like this deep dive research, and I'm like, girl, stop. Make a decision, live with it, and you'll find out what happens. If you need to, you'll find out. Like, yeah, live in that fun. Just mess around and find out.
Mess around and find. I like that. Mess around and find out. A lot of times,
in a good way.
In a good way, because we use it the other way. We use it the other way.
Yes,
but yes, in a good way. Yeah, that's. But you saying that, Yolanda, though, reminds me though. A lot of times, and I talk about this a lot, that we don't, the older we get, like we go through this phase of like not allowing ourselves to explore and be creative and be curious. We don't, we're like in a box, and then maybe you and I are doing that at our age right now. I think historically people, when they get much older, you know how they be like older people, they don't be caring. They be saying what they want to say. They want to. Yeah. I mean, that's the lightweight example.
To embrace that a little bit more, girl.
They don't be caring.
Every 10 years, every 5 years, it's like, yeah, I feel like saying this, and I don't give a damn what you think.
And I don't care, because at that point they're like, look, I done been here. I'm 75. What do I care about? Judgment or this, that, or how people think I should dress or what I should do with my hair, all that. But yeah, I think that's happening. The thing is, we can have that that exploration time earlier. And I think that's what I push for, is the exploration time earlier. It serves, the crazy thing is, you exploring serves everybody. They don't know it.
Mhm.
It serves everybody. It really does, because you become like Yolanda, just like you were on your own path, but in that you're inspiring so many other people, right?
Yes, exactly. And the thing is, when you look at people that are like, why don't you just like, what, well, if you don't know what you're going to do, then maybe you shouldn't do anything. Maybe you should just keep doing what you've been doing. The thing
Mhm.
is, what is that? Your I guess your desire for happiness or for change can really
Mhm.
make other people uncomfortable. Can make
Yes.
them uncomfortable. And so if they're uncomfortable, they're like, well, I need to question you because you're making me uncomfortable. It's like, it's me wanting to do something to make my life better.
Mhm.
Why is that directly impacting your emotional well-being or whatever? And why should I care?
Mhm.
Okay. With all due
No,
respect.
but it's both. No, it
Yeah.
is true. Both. You should not care,
Hmm.
because, and from a standpoint of like, people have to do their own work. And
Yes.
typically the emotional response has something to do with their own work and not your actions, right? If they're feeling
Hmm.
lack, or if they're, it has something to do with their own work that hasn't been done. So when you say, we shouldn't care, it's true, we shouldn't care from a standpoint of that should not determine your actions forward. It really
Yeah.
shouldn't, because the emotions have nothing to do with you. They actually have absolutely nothing to do with you. They really don't. They really don't. Yeah. Yeah. I'm speaking from experience, from a standpoint of, I have myself taken that emotion, and it's something that's internal. And before I did my own work, it's very easy to place that on somebody else. You did this, therefore I feel this way. You move this way, so I feel this way, or whatever.
Yeah.
All that feeling stuff was a Jenee thing. They have nothing to do with what the person was doing in their own life, the things that they were choosing to do for their own life. And how am I going to determine their happiness? Who am I to tell Yolanda what Yolanda need to be doing to be happy? Who am I? I must really think very
Everybody has
highly
their
of
own
myself.
journey.
Yeah, exactly.
We
Exactly.
might arrive at the same place, but the journey is going to be different.
It'll be totally different. It'll
Yeah.
always be different. And honestly, that is the point. That is the point, for the journey to be different. Your story of moving to Spain. Now, I could move to Spain. My story is still not going to be the same as yours.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same. And it's not supposed to be. That's I don't know at one point where we stop celebrating the diversity of life, right? It's not supposed to be the same. I want you, because, okay, if we have the same story, then you and I come to Spain and I live there and I have the same story. What we going to talk about
Oh,
when we get
boy.
together for coffee? That's
I
kind of
know.
boring, right?
Oh,
You
boy.
already knew where that was going. That is super boring. Super boring.
So during your process of, okay, so when did you first, okay, let's go back. When did you first kind of, was it like 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that you kind of like, I'm feel like you felt it, you knew it, but then maybe you started taking some actions or
Mhm.
research. When was that?
When you said a catalyst, I took advantage of an opportunity, timing wise. I wouldn't say it was a catalyst, but it was an opportunity. I had been feeling this way. Let me see. I have to think back. How old are my children? Like, okay, so let me think when it was. I mean, the unsettled feeling in me,
Mhm.
probably, like I said, it was growing over time, right? So as they got older, so now we're maybe at like 8, 9 years, something like that.
Okay.
Um, is where it was really getting strong, where I was creating a lot of unhappiness for myself. I'll say that, mentally,
Okay.
right? And my emotions. I was creating a lot of unhappiness for myself, because I was letting a lot of that compound, and it didn't go nowhere. It doesn't go
Mhm.
anywhere unless you work with it, right? And so when my husband did something he did something very bold and very courageous, which is he took a job up in the Virginia, DC area so that he could advance his career. He had always stayed here in Texas, in Houston, because the children were small and he wanted to be here while they were small and coming up, right? So eventually he was like, I've had enough of the jobs in Houston. I can't get ahead. We're not going to talk about the racism down here, but we're just going to talk about, let's just say that whole last hired, first fired thing is that still works here. Okay. And so when he took the chance and did that, and I say make a bold move, and I didn't understand the move at that time. Like I understood the wanting to get somewhere different, right? But I didn't understand what was like all the components of it because I was on the outside. I took that timing, like the first year after he was up there was really, really hard. After that is where I saw that opportunity to start to work with some of those feelings I had been having of why.
So did you move with him or did you stay here in Houston?
Me and the children stayed here in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the first year was a hard transition. And probably by year 2 that he was up there, and right, he would come back and forth.
Yeah.
Year 2, by the time he was up there, is when having that space allowed me to try some things, right? Because that's one less person that is interjecting into like, maybe you should pause, maybe you shouldn't, and not in, and a lot of times it's well-meaning. I don't ever want it to sound like the people around you are, wishing you not good things, right? They do want the best for you, but they don't know what that is either because you don't know what it is, right? They only know the past, right? They don't know what the future is. So it's one of those where I was like, okay, this is my chance. I had brought house sitting to my husband before, and he was kind of like, And so when he wasn't here, it was easy for me to be like, we're going house fit and I'm going to take the kids, that type of thing. Because I could have a little bit more liberty with that distance. So I would say that was where I started to action more. Because of course, right, like I said, it's very, I had a lot of fear about making any of those changes. And so when you've been married as long as we have and having that close relationship or having anybody in your life where you have a super close relationship with for years, right? And they know you a certain way, I took advantage of that. I would say took advantage of that time. And that's when I started doing more actions. I started house sitting. I started eventually through COVID. And when we got to go remote and then back to the office, like they pulled us back in the office real fast. But that little bit of time of being remote was enough for me to be like, this is my next thing.
Yeah. Once you had a taste of it, you're like, oh man, this is a whole new world. What? Yeah.
It's like, I could do this. I could, it just kept, it's like every step gave me the courage to make a bigger step. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. I get that. And it's funny because there was one of the ladies that I pet sit for, she had 3 cats, gorgeous house. This is sometime in 2023. But it was in the Houston area, like up north, but so sweet. And she was like, her husband actually was like residing in another state for work. And she pets it. She was like, and like her kids were grown and gone and everything. It was just her at home. She was like, well, he's he travels a lot, and everything. And she was like, I just go on pet sits. So I actually had to come to her house to pet sit her pets so that she can go do a pet sit in another city because it was just like, I just want to go. And, And again, the clarity of everybody's journey is different. You had to, there were certain considerations that you had to, that were like part of the outline of how you would be doing things because you have a husband, you have kids, things like that. Me, it was just me, myself, and me because my kids were grown and gone.
They were grown,
yeah, they super grown, gone, and I never been married, so I was just like, I mean, the only person I had to answer to at the time was my dog. Okay, that's what I had to answer to because I was like, what am I going to do with my dog? Because I had a dog. Yeah, so I still do. My dog's back home with my sister. But anyways, I literally had to again, everybody's journey is different. So I
Mm-hmm.
had to navigate how I was going to be able to implement this. And mine was, your dog has a safe place to go.
Oh
You're going to give
yeah.
up your apartment. You can't, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, most people, you can't do that. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but
Mm-hmm.
my journey of living out of my suitcase for the past year and a half may not be something, for somebody with, okay, a whole
And
family.
or,
Okay.
or it might be. We've
Yeah.
seen
You
people
know
who
what?
house sit full time. It just everybody's journey is different,
We
and
have people that are
everyone's
RVing around the world and they live out of their RV. So
yeah.
yeah, it's possible.
It's
Okay.
possible. It's possible. Yeah.
Everything is
Exactly.
possible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what is one of the I guess the first time a discovery, like aspects of yourself that after you started this journey, you're kind of like something maybe that you didn't know that you liked, something, for yourself, or something that you were like, I'm not doing this anymore. Something like a self-discovery episode that like your first time like being all about you.
I think a few things I've discovered. One is
Okay.
a few things. So one is I've been able to explore and like fashion wise dress how I want to dress, like, and enjoy it. I never was really into fashion. I've always been one of those people that it's like people look at me and they're like, oh, you're the like, I don't want to use the word ideal. You're the traditional size for clothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Clothing
She
manufacturers.
dresses great, y'all, by the way. She's like, I'm
And
not
you're,
into fashion. She knows what she's doing. Okay.
but I wasn't
We've met in
always, but
person
that's what
several
I'm saying.
times.
I can say that now because that was part of like my overall, like working on the
Mhm.
inside allowed me the I guess the exploration with my fashion too, because before it's one of those where, oh, people say, oh, well, you should wear this, right? That's on trend. Or this fits and that looks good on you. Or that'll make you look more sexy. Or, your hair should be this color because that's what's in or what
Yeah.
makes women look younger. I don't, whatever. There's like a whole bunch of rhetoric around how we present ourselves. And so the
Yeah.
more I worked on like the inside of me, the more I found that I'm so comfortable in color. Like I'm so comfortable of coming into the room. And if I'm the brightest flower, I always say, if I'm the brightest flower in a room of all flowers, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No other flower shines less
Own it.
because
Absolutely freaking own it. Okay.
it doesn't. So I'm really so that's one of the things is I didn't honestly think I would enjoy fashion as much as I do now because it's fun. It's become fun to me. So I didn't know that about myself, or I had lost that. If there was a version of me that liked that, I didn't know she had been lost.
Hmm.
And then also I put it this way, I knew I was smart and resilient for certain things in life, but I didn't know I could be that for myself. I didn't
Mm.
know, you see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, if it was anything for the family or what, girl, you could not, I'm unstoppable, right? I'm gonna find a way
Yes.
financially, I'm gonna do all that. But I didn't know I could do that for myself at that high of a level. And now you're seeing what you're seeing is the way that I'm living is I'm using all that for me now. Like I'm using all that, like, let me hack this or let me figure, let me be smart, let me be courageous. I tell people one of the things one of the things that we do is like an icebreaker at one of the places work is like, tell us something not on your LinkedIn profile, right? This is for corporate, right?
Mm.
And mine has always been one of two things. I'm an international luxury property house sitter, right? Which is kind of like, what? Or
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah, I've done that. Go
or
ahead.
which takes courage. There's a whole lot that goes into that to step into that, right? Level of trust and like there's a lot that goes into house sitting that people don't realize. I'm not saying house sitting is hard. What I'm saying is there's a lot more person wise that goes into house sitting, right? With that level of trust and getting and staying in what's considered a stranger's home. And
Yeah.
like you see what I'm saying? So
Oh yeah.
either that or I tell them I took a solo trip across the Texas-Mexico border in a bus. And I was not a 20-something year old. And that alone tells me I've learned that I've like have a lot more courage that I can use for myself. And it has just benefited me. Oh my gosh. I do not ever want to go back and take back any any of it. Even if I thought it was hard at the time, I don't want to take none of it back, because now I found that, wow, that courageous and like resilient person, she can do stuff for herself too. So
Yes.
that's what I've discovered. Yeah. Yeah.
It was, and I've had the same, I've had a lot of people that, like, when I've been either interviewed for a contract or whatever and stuff, and they're like, so you're literally in Spain? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, so when are you coming back? And I was like, I'm not. I'm not. I mean, I'll come back to, come back to visit.
You mean the visit? Yeah. Like Yolanda's like, I can't comprehend because I'm in Spain. I can't hear you.
Yeah. It's like, you like we're on video chat. See the words that are coming out of my mouth. Okay. So, but also I've had like, actually the assignment that I'm on right now, because I went to Lisbon, and so I was talking, because we have like a meeting, me and the hiring manager, we have a meeting twice a week, and so I have my numbers and everything stuff, and he was looking, and I was like, and I said something, and I was like, oh, I'm on a pet sit right now, and he was like, what? And I was like, I thought I told you when I interviewed that I pet sit. He's like, no. He's like, I want to know more about this. But, we were like talking numbers and keeping it professional. Right. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I've had quite a few that are like people, as far as like again, I don't have it on my LinkedIn. I don't have like
no, me either. Yeah.
But when I tell, like, if I'm interviewing, I like, yes, this is what I do. And stuff. And yeah, they find it very interesting.
It's very interesting. Yes. So and like you said, how I was talking about being the brightest flower in a room of many flowers, and you're like, own that. I own that. I feel like my life is interesting to me. I don't care what nobody else think about it. I think my life is interesting to me. Like, I like my own story, and that's the point.
Yes. But if you ask me, leading into, I'm going to tell you everything.
And I think that's
how
great.
To cheer myself up and be like, yes, that chick, yes. Okay.
You like, let me tell you this story about this woman I know.
Yeah. Definitely. So, so are you back home? Are you back in Houston now, or?
I'm in Houston now, and so I did some Mexico time in December, which I did a whole lot of, and I haven't even put that on Instagram. Us talking about not putting stuff on Instagram. I haven't even put that on Instagram. I was there for medical tourism. I mean, I was there on a house sit, but I did a lot of medical tourism, CAT scans, bone densities, all like, girl, everything. I did my well woman down there. So I have a lot of info to share about that as well. But I'll go back in a couple of weeks to Mexico. The only trips that are like planned ahead, I guess, for 2025 is like, I've set the intention that, of course, I have trips to Mexico. That's like a given, right? Because we got to go back and I got to do my 3-year residency. That'll be time in May. So I got, so those are all like on the books. But I am setting the intention to be in Europe this summer. Again, it is time for me to get back. And I have not been to more than just one city in Spain. I'm just, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just throwing it out there. I haven't been to more than one city in Spain.
Anytime I hear about a Black woman coming to Spain, I'm like, girl. Yes, anytime. Yeah, I get this. I get this stupid look. Okay.
Yes. So I'm setting the intention to spend some time in Europe this year, because I did not go in 2024. And Mexico has become a given. I mean, we're right here in Texas, and like, that's a given. So my life is filled with, I will go to Mexico. Like, there's never a question at this point. I don't question if I'm going to go a year, not going to Mexico. My husband and I will go to Mexico at least once a year. Like, if we only go once, that's like surprise. Like, what happened? We must have really been busy. We must have been somewhere else.
I want to come back. I don't know. life be happening. I want to come
Mhm.
back and go to Mexico for like and stay for like 2 months again and stuff. And somebody, Rosalind, hey Rosalind, not before 10. So Yolanda, when are you going to Mexico? So okay.
Pressure. I didn't mean to bring it up. I didn't mean to bring it up.
It's like too late. And I've been talking about it. I've been talking about it because it's like my whole goal was this summer um I wanted to do like maybe 2 weeks in the States and then like go to
Okay.
Mexico for 2 months. That's what I
Oh
wanted to
yeah.
do. But some other
Okay.
things have just changed, and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be able to just do the 2 months in Mexico. But that's
Right.
what I was, yeah, because the pet sit notifications be happening, and I'm like,
Oh, they
ooh, I have major FOMO, major FOMO. Okay, like, ooh, that's a good
they
one.
do. There's no shortage in Mexico. Like you can be in Mexico as long as you want house sitting. Like
Hmm.
for real, it's not even a thing. So that's why like literally on my calendar for 2025, I'm like, oh, I need to go get my residency in these within these 30 days. I'm like,
Hmm.
I already have alerts for trusted house sitters to get a house sitter because I know I can get one. It's like it's not till
Yeah,
May. I mean, and I know some homeowners down there already that I've set for numerous occasions. I mean, it's like now it's
yeah.
part of like my travel planning. It's so consistent in Mexico. You can now for a little while it wasn't like that after
Same thing
COVID.
here.
Yeah,
Same
the
thing
same thing
here.
there.
Yeah, it's like, so even from a year like in 2022, twenty twenty
Hmm.
three, there was not a lot of pet sits. No.
Really?
It's like, and then one, when they were posting, like they would be gone just like that because, yeah. But I think it's because of the onset of more people moving here. I
Hmm.
mean, I get alerts like between Lisbon, between Portugal and
Okay.
Spain. I get alerts for pet sits all the time. So if I had really wanted
Really?
to, I feel like had I wanted to, I could have
Mhm.
moved here and continued to not pay rent and just like bopped around. And
Really?
yeah, that's how many more pet sits are
Okay.
coming up here.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it's like people from the US, from all over. I found, this has just been my experience,
Okay.
that the local people that are actually from Spain, that's
Mhm.
not who I'll get pet sits from. It's usually like somebody that's moved here.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah,
That makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah.
It's like,
Like, and
yeah,
sometimes they're like going back home, like they're from the
yeah.
UK or they're from, okay. And they're like,
Yeah,
yeah,
the Netherlands, yeah, all over.
yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, we have to go back. They have to go back to Australia or whatever. But yeah, it's a lot. So if you are, yeah, let me put my code up here. Okay, just a second.
Yes, you need to tell them to join, but I
Yes,
don't know if I have any, I feel like I don't have any Spain alerts
Mr.
for
House says you get
this
25%
summer.
off. Huh?
I don't think I have any alerts for Spain for the summer, but
Maybe
there's
you
a
just get.
reason behind that. There's a
I
reason behind
mean,
it. I
I
might
still
do
get alerts for
Barcelona.
Houston, and I have FOMO, and I'm just like, okay, I thought I've turned off all the alerts for Texas. Like I love
Yolanda.
Austin.
Yolanda.
So, anyways. But turn it
Mm-mm.
on. You turn on. You know what? I'll say this. When are you thinking? You said you're thinking about coming this summer
Yes.
I
So
mean, to different parts, not just necessarily Spain, but
right.
yeah.
It's to different parts, just Europe in general. So kind of like my
Okay.
first year, like not 2024, 2023, when I did my first Europe house sitting, like I don't know what you
Hmm.
call it, like package, whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it, with
You
my
did
husband.
France here.
We didn't do France. We didn't do France. We
Okay.
did Portugal, Italy. We drove to Sevilla. That's why I said I've only
Okay.
done one city in Spain. We didn't stay there. We
Okay.
were we were in the Algarve, so we could drive, right? So we just drove across the
Okay.
border. Yeah. Um, so this time I'm gonna kind of do the same thing, meaning like it's gonna be Portugal because I've already purchased tickets to be at an event in Portugal at the end of June.
Okay.
So that's the only dates that are set. Like I need to be in Portugal those 2 days. The house
Okay.
sits, it's kind of like I have some on for Portugal, France this time. I'm not, let me keep my opinion about the French house sits to myself. Let me just move on. Let me move on. Italy,
Why are you playing with my
uh,
emotions like this? What?
they are not what I'm looking for. Let's say that. They
Okay.
are the ones that I'm looking for are far in between of all the rest of this stuff.
Okay.
They have too many animals. They got too much going on. Some stuff is a little too rustic for me. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That's all I'm going to say. It's not what I'm looking for. I still do have alerts on there for France, but what I'm thinking is probably going to happen, which I'm fine with, is I'm going to book like maybe Italy and Portugal again, and then maybe Switzerland again, which I booked it last time, but it ended up not. UK and Switzerland fell out of my last trip. The
Okay.
homeowner canceled in UK, and then my husband had gotten sick, so we had to cancel Switzerland. It was on the end of before we went home. Right. But I'm thinking again, what's going to happen is I'm going to book probably similar countries. And France, if I don't find a house sit there, that's going to be a week we pay. Right. That's going to be a week we get an Airbnb just so we can see the area, because I do want us to be, I'm just not seeing what I want so far. And I do have a few bookmarked because, hear you loud, Michelle, hear you loud and clear. I'm trying not to be real strong with my opinion, because that doesn't mean that there's not other house sitters that is for. It's not going to work for me. This is a little tip, but which I'm glad you dropped your code for anyone that's interested in house sitting. So I'm not coming until the summer. Okay, my intention is the summer. Ideally, I would book my longest sit, whatever the longest one I can get sit first, right? So whatever country that is, that's going to give me at least 2 weeks maybe. And then I'm going to book everything around that. So that's why I'm really like open. But I also know that it's rare to book them this far in advance. Like there's some at France that are booking now. But I told you what those look like. That's why they looking now, because ain't nobody coming. Ain't nobody coming for 4 dogs and chickens. And that's why you're looking now to try to get somebody to come in the summer. But most likely they're going to be like, I'm leaving it open. At some point, I'm going to have to decide when I want to go, right? Because usually it's about 2 months before where they're booking summer. Right now, everybody is booking, meaning Americans and people that have children in school. They're booking spring. They're spring break. Latest they're booking is April, May, Easter, right? And the first time we went to Europe, we went right after Easter. It was perfect. We went right on the edge of the season, when cold is breaking, right? So everybody was leaving for like Easter and then May time, and it was before summer. Tons of people traveling for those holidays in between there. And so house sits were everywhere. So about February is when they started to drop. So I know it's like a 2-month time frame. I'm saying all that to say, right now it's cold in Europe, and this is the best time to shop for sits that you want in the future. This is when I go and I heart all the people I like, because everybody is leaving Europe in winter. And now I can see all the pictures of your houses, and I can see all the pets and all that. And then I can go through and heart. And if you pop up for the summer, I already got your bookmark. But if I wait till the summer, they're never going to show, because you see what I'm saying? Because a lot of them may not travel. Like I'm taking a big selection of homeowners, and then I'm like, out of all these people that left for January, hopefully out of all these that I love, these 50 that I love, maybe 10 will travel this summer. And as soon as they pop up on my alert, I've already pre-approved them in my own mind.
It's like, I'm your best friend.
Because we're not messing with the other ones. Wait
a minute, I'm sorry. We are going to get back on. So, but she said, wait, they have chicken as pets. Oh yes.
Speak to that, Yolanda.
So you can be, especially like here I know, especially in Spain or like in France, especially in the more rural parts. They have whole farms that they're like, we need you to come and take care of our chickens. And, I need you to there's a goat, milk the cow. I mean, it just varies. Not all of them, but especially the more rural ones. They have like whole farm animals and everything. And some people absolutely love it. They want a lot of, there are people that pet sit that want to be off the grid, and they just want to take care of the pets and yeah, all that stuff. It's everybody has a story as far as the type of pets and things that they want to do.
Yes. Yes.
But taking care of cows and horses and all that stuff, that's not my mission. So
That's
just know what you're comfortable with. Yeah.
that's you know what you're comfortable with. And I always tell people, that's why I say I keep my opinions to myself, because there is someone that is their sit. It's just not mine.
Mhm.
But there's
Yeah.
somebody, like you said, there's somebody that's like, I love off the grid. I love sustainable farming. I love, getting the
Hmm.
chickens and like getting eggs in the morning. And like, they love all of that. And I'm like, I'm not in love with all of that experience. Like, if I were to do that, it would be more like on a volunteer basis. Honestly, it'd be like,
Yeah.
I'm volunteer, like, because then my mind is like, you are here to work.
Yeah. The workaway
Okay, like
programs.
you're
Love
here
that.
to
Yeah.
work, or like to be on the farm, right? If it's a sustainable farm, it's like you're here to work, and you are here to reap the rewards of helping with the farm. That's a
Yeah.
different mentality of Jenee is trying to house it and experience different cultures and all that, and just watch someone's pet and their home, and that's it. And barely the home, because you need to have somebody clean all of that, because I'm a super clean person. I
Hmm.
Yeah, so I just
The most
know
that
you
I
got to
want
know where you fit. Know where you fit.
The most that I want as far as farm animals, I like to watch them on my social media reels. I will go down the rabbit hole with farming and how to grow plants and
There
taking care of all the alpacas and all that stuff. I love that stuff on social media. I can sit for hours and watch it on social media. That's it. That's where that stops. That's where
That's
it
it.
begins and ends. Okay.
You say the reality of it is it's going to stay on social media. The
Yeah.
reality for Yolanda is it's staying on social media.
Yeah. And I can be
Mhm.
I just admire it so much, so much. So
Mhm.
tell me something. Have you Do you find yourself letting go or doing any kind of like decluttering in your home right now with the possible intention of moving
Uh,
to Mexico full time or another
uh,
place full time?
a little bit, a little bit. Look, y'all have all warned us how this process, the decluttering, is more than it looks like, right? Like, it doesn't look like much. Look at these few rooms that don't have many things in them. Don't open the closet type thing, and we'll just get rid of the stuff in a couple of weeks. Y'all have already briefed me and my husband on all that, H&D, everybody has gone through it. I have seen it. And so we have started slowly I've just started to slowly make decisions about stuff, and we're doing some repairs around the house in preparation to maybe sell in a year or two, right?
Okay.
We're not in any rush right now. We're kind of like, we'd rather be still flexible. Like, my husband's remote too, right? So we can just use this as a base and kind of keep going and make sure we want to go where we want to go before we sell off our asset, because we see it as this is an asset.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we don't think we want to rent it out. That could change in the next couple of years. But to answer your question, we're slowly, but not like we move in tomorrow, or like in the next couple of months. We're not like just throwing, you know what I mean? But I'm being
Mm.
very intentional about what I take in. And I'm
Okay.
starting to, like, as far as when people offer things, or what I'm buying or whatever. Like, I'm like, what? Like, I really would like a new set of dishes. Example, I really would like a new set of dishes. I've had the ones I've had, I don't know, 20 something years. There's nothing wrong with the dishes. Girl, there ain't nothing wrong with the dishes. I just would like some in a different style. I'm not going to
Yeah.
buy them. I'm not going to buy them, because why would I buy them here and drag them to Mexico or to Portugal? I can get dishes there. So it is
Yeah.
starting to affect what we purchase. I'm not going to lie. It has really, so decluttering, like not taking in, and then also we are starting to like slowly shed stuff. And then our son moved out. Our son is 28. Our son is 28.
Mhm.
He got his first apartment. And so there were a few things we were able to like give to him, or like artwork, or, things that we're not using. He took his bedroom set. So stuff is starting to flow out the door. The house is
Okay.
starting to get, somewhat organized. It's still, but the closets, they're still work, girl. They're still work. They're still work.
So, okay. Yeah. I mean, trust me, I do not judge because I moved out of my place and I thought I only needed, now granted, I don't have like, I never had a home or I haven't had a home that I stayed in for like years and years and
For years.
years.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I'm an apartment girl. I live in a condo or something like that.
Or
But,
yes.
but yeah, I literally, what I should have done was started decluttering when I first thought about it. But I ended up like getting rid of everything like 2 months before, like I think maybe a month before I was like packing up and I was like, oh, so I ended up donating a lot of my stuff. But it was
Yeah.
still very much, and I've said this before, I
Hmm.
had to let go to let in whatever was about to happen and the big transitions that was about to happen in this new adventure of my life. So
It's so true.
yeah,
So true. Yeah. No,
it's hard for
I'm
people to declutter, to let go sometimes, and I get it. I get it. These are your things. There was a young lady on the Exodus Summit Facebook group that was saying that
mhm,
she got rid of like a bunch of stuff and she didn't know how she felt. And I literally said, you need to go ahead and grieve that feeling. Like take in that feeling, grieve
mhm,
that loss of your things, acknowledge it,
mhm.
then keep moving. Don't go
And
back.
then
But yeah,
yes.
but yes.
It's it's no, but it's true. You're so right about it is a grieving process, but that's part of the evolution too to the next thing, right? Because we can't hold all the things. We can't hold all the people. We can't hold we really can't, right? Through
Mhm.
all of it. And we're not supposed to for every phase of life. I mean, some people there truly is seasons for everything, right? But yeah,
Absolutely.
that's it's true. I've had to start with some of that, but it has really just it's affected my long-term buying. I mean, I had already shifted towards a more sustainable way of thinking about like what I purchase just in general. Like I'm a resale shopper. I love things that are made from like small brands, or I love, I'm the person that would go to the thrift store and find a beautiful set of plates that somebody else donated or
Yes.
whatever, right? So and I'm okay with that because I kind of I like the things around me to have a story. And a lot of the stuff, other than the sentimental stuff in our home, a lot of it doesn't have a story. We didn't have a couch and someone gifted it to us when we were younger. It's you know what I mean? Like it's by
Yeah.
circumstance. And you could say, well, that was a story. And it's like, yeah, but that was the old story. The new story, and my mom knows I'm like this. My mom was like, I'll give you an example. She said, why are you boiling water for tea in a like clear glass Pyrex bowl
Mhm.
type thing? She was like, why are you doing that? I have plenty of extra teapots. You can just go buy one off Amazon or whatever. And I said, no. I said, because I want the things around me to have a story. I said, so I'm the person that Jenee wants to go on her first trip to Japan and go to the small village where they make pots. And that's all they make is teapots. And I want to go there and I want to talk to the people and I want to struggle with the language. And I want to have a whole story and I want to bring the pot back. And every time I use the pot, I am in Japan, right? So, long story short, I found one of those a teapot in Ajijic, Mexico, and I bought it in a little thrift market, and it's hand painted and it's signed by the artist. And
Oh,
I'm happy.
wow.
And I'm happy,
Yes.
right? I'm happy, but that's how I want things intentionally around me, including people and things. So,
Yes. I get that. I get
yeah,
that. Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Mhm. Yeah, or I want to go to Spain. I want to go like visit you in Spain and I want to like pick up a necklace or whatever and be like, "Oh, every time I wear this necklace, I am in Spain." And it's
Yeah,
not about
there's a true genuine story behind it. Yeah.
there is, and it's not about to tell other people the story. It's because that's what I want my story to be. I keep going back to this is for me. Like
Yeah.
no people could get no joy out of it at all, but for me it'd be like, "Oh, every time I wear this, I don't know, butterfly thing I found when I was at Yolanda's, like it just brings me joy." So,
Yeah. I have a thing right now, actually, and I had done the same thing when I was in the States. It's like there's this little ceramic thing. I'm not gonna bring it over here, but there's like a little three-piece ceramic thing, and I was literally in a thrift store because I love going thrifting. I was so happy when I found some good quality thrift stores here.
oh, you
Anyway,
trying to get me there? You're trying to get me to Spain? Then you talking about some thrift stores? Stop.
but there was like three-piece ceramic set, and I remember I turned it over, and It was just like somebody, you can tell somebody had made it. It wasn't like any name brand anything. It wasn't like labeled as
Like
and
some
I'm just, I don't
brand
know,
or
like
whatever, like
ABC
some
company,
fancy
yeah,
brand
whatever.
or
So
something.
it was
Yeah.
literally like you could see like this was somebody that actually did these 3 pieces themselves. Now I don't know, how it came about to come into the thrift store, and it was like maybe I think all 3 pieces was like 10 euro. But I have it. I got them. And I felt like I was like, you need a good home. Okay.
Yes.
And I don't have that many
Yes.
pieces of my stuff because this place already came partially furnished and stuff. But
Okay.
the little things, it's when I look at it, I'm like, that piece, it may not be my official beginning story, but I knew just based by the signature at the bottom, I was
Yeah.
like, that was somebody's story.
Yes. Yeah. And see, and now it's part of your story. You know what I mean? So I love,
Yes.
like, I don't know. I don't want to say like I'm sentimental or whatever. I'm so in this, like, wanting my life to be intentional and like all things about it to be intentional, because it's so beautiful when it's like that. So I want
Yeah.
more of it. So I love that you having the new apartment. That was like your way to be able to like intentionally be like, oh, clean slate, or somewhat clean. Like you said, it's pre-furnished. You had some stuff in there.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
you could like decide, oh, I have the opportunity to get a new vase for my living room. Where's
Yes.
that vase going to come from? Where's it, is it going to come from Portugal when you're house sitting? Is it going to be
Yes.
somebody got it at the thrift store?
Yeah, Portugal is another place, just FYI. Lisbon, I have to be because they have like some thrift stores there, and I had to stop because I was about to buy another suitcase in Lisbon just to bring stuff back. And I was like, don't do that. Do not do that.
Don't do it.
That
Don't
was
do it.
hard.
Oh,
Yes.
I have a story for you. Trying about bring stuff back. Okay, this is a tangent. This is a total tangent about trying to bring stuff back. And this is how we know some of the stuff is supposed to stay there. It's for the time we're there, right? Not to be dragging back and forth. When I
Here for a
just
good
went to
time, not a long
Mexico,
time.
when I just
Okay. Excuse me.
okay, all right, Yolanda. Um, I was there, and I went to one of those bazaars or markets where they have all the different like little local stuff, right?
Mhm.
And the universe provided me salsa. Let me tell you why. Because I had said, "Oh, I'm making like my go-to when I don't want to cook when I'm traveling in Mexico is just to make quesadillas, right? Because
Mhm.
they have the Oaxaca cheese that's actually fresh, and there's ladies selling tortillas right here on the corner. That's the easy, and then cut a few avocados. My dinner is done. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't have a salsa. And I was like, oh, in Mexico City, where am I going to find the pre-made salsa that the ladies make? Because they didn't have it at the tortilla, like the tortilla place. Usually, like in San Miguel, smaller villages, there's always tortillas and salsa and some other stuff. Not in
Yeah.
Mexico City. They just like, how much by weight do you want to buy of tortillas? So
Oh yeah.
anyway, I didn't have a salsa, long story short, didn't have one. And I said, universe, I'm walking back from being out today. I need a salsa to go with dinner because I'm not going back out. I'm walking down the street. This lady hands me a flyer and she's like, we're having a bazaar in here. Mexico is randomness and I love it. We're having a bazaar in here. Come through and see the vendors. I go in. First one is ice cream. The second one is salsa. I sit there and I talk to the lady. I sit there and I'm trying. They've got all the samples out, local brand. I'm trying. I was like, this is the best salsa of my life. There's this black traditional salsa in Mexico that I have not found a authentic recipe for. I am gonna say that I am pretty good at making truly Mexican food. I like from Mexican recipes. My salsa is fantastic. All of that.
Yeah.
I love Mexico enough that I can cook it properly. This black salsa, okay. This black salsa though.
The abuelas are like, okay, girl, you're doing good. You're doing
Yeah,
good.
they're like you doing some things, but we ain't gonna never tell you how to make this black salsa until you move
Yeah.
here. And so they had it jarred version, which you do not find. And I was like, what? And so I bought that, and I bought some of the other salsas. I take it home. And so this, I'm getting to the point where I'm trying to get it home. Okay. It is over the amount that can go in a carry-on. This is obvious, but the jar is about this big.
Mm-hmm.
I went through a jar in a week by myself. By myself. I said, I don't know what's in this, but this has got to go home. It has got to go to the United States with me. And I wasn't going to check a bag. I talked to my mom. I literally got on the phone with mom. I said, look, she's from New Orleans. I said, you're always bringing food. How do you be packing food to make it last? Like we were talking about freezing it and all. It was a whole thing. I bought multiple jars. I found a right size box. I packed it, all this kind of stuff. At the very end of it, so I froze the salsa and did not check the bag because checking a bag was going to be $125 one way.
Most expensive salsa ever.
Ever, right? And I couldn't do it. But like my financial side of me was like, you are insane because these jars are $8. And yes, you bought like 3 of them, but we're not paying that to check a bag. So we're going to try a hack that people said online, which is freeze the salsa because solid food can go in a carry-on. And my mom confirmed in the United States. I know. Okay. My mom confirmed in the United States, they will freeze food and let you, if it's frozen, it can go in your carry-on, not checked. Okay. I was like, well, I have nothing to lose. At this point I had already bought the salsa and it was, I have nothing to lose. We're going to freeze it the night before. We're going to freeze it the night before. We're going to pack it and we're going to go with it. So I get there, I get through and they're like, can you open your bag? Or at first I thought I was clear. And then she was like, ma'am, can you open your bag? I opened the bag. The first one was like small sample jars. And she was like, oh, okay. It's salsa, right? I was like, yeah, that was not frozen. And she was like, those are good. She's like, is there anything else in the box? I say, yeah. So I take it out and then she sees the big jars. And then she's not sure because it's frozen, right? It's like a block. And they're glass jars. And she's like, And so she doesn't speak English as well as the gentleman that's in charge of everyone. And she brings him over and he took like a 2-second. He kind of thought about it and he was like, no, you have to check it. And I was like, well, we ain't checking this bag. Y'all enjoy the salsa. That being said, we need to keep stuff in their own country is what I'm telling you. You and me. We don't need to not be bringing stuff back. So the salsa didn't make it back except for the samples for my mom. And then my mom, that was her first. Yeah, she got the little samples and she was like, after all that, because she talked me through, and she was like, I'm so sad about the salsa. And I gave her the little samples.
I'm
and
sad
then
too.
Okay. Look, because it was a thing. And then she ate the salsa and she sent me a text at 10:30 at night saying, I am in salsa heaven. I do not even want to share this with you because it's so good. And I said, see, you see why I was trying to smuggle it out of Mexico because they don't ship to the
black
US.
salsa?
It's a salsa that is black. It is made out of chilies and oil, but it's a traditional salsa and they serve it like if you go to San Miguel, they'll have it. They have it sometimes in Mexico City, but when you go to the smaller villages, it's always served. And it's black. It's black and color.
Like Rosalind, you on here? Have you had the black salsa? Okay.
I don't know what it's called, but it's a traditional, and I think it's a Oaxacan salsa. And it's traditional, it's black and it's quite spicy, but it's not like gonna kill you spicy, but it is pretty spicy. I don't know. Salsa fuego. Is it black? Is that like black and oily? Because you'll find it in Tulum as well. And it's almost like an oil base. And then it's got like almost, I think it's made out of habaneros that have been grilled to blackened. And maybe then it's put in a blender. I don't know. I don't know. Is that what salsa fuego is? I don't know if that's what that is. But if so, if you have a recipe, pass it on, please. Because she's like, because I have not found an authentic one.
Give it to us. Okay.
No gatekeeping. No gatekeeping. Yes.
So I wanted to ask you, because you've done like quite a bit of travel. Yes. So do you feel like traveling has been like a healing tool for you?
I would say in a way, yes, because where I choose to travel is not touristy. And so it requires more of me. Like finding, like, you know what I mean? It requires more of me. I can't like lean on what I expect things to be. I have to be open to accept things the way that they are.
Yeah.
And in that, I feel that that is healing. That is a beautiful thing to have as a human, as a human, to be able to just, things are the way they are outside of your control, and there's a beauty in that. And so to be able to relax into that and not be like stressed and I need to control it or whatever, I think is healing. I think is healing,
Yeah.
as well as the time away, because you only have your thoughts, and you can, I know Rashida talks about how you can be a different person when you travel, right? Because you're outside the bubble, you can be a different person. That can be healing, because then it's being able to try stuff without the microscope, without the microscope of other people perceptions, right? So I think healing, yes, I would say travel is healing. I encourage everyone to travel.
And I agree, and I'll say this: traveling, because it's like, one, I used to be a major yeller. Like, you had to hear me. So I need to raise my voice and get kind of loud and a little bit ignorant so you can know that I'm important too. Traveling around the world, going to Morocco, you will get the hell over yourself. And it was very, when I say this, now don't get me wrong, I gave up, the yelling and all that attitude and stuff years ago and stuff, but it can sneak up on me sometimes. But overall, just traveling, like when I went to Morocco or just going to Mexico by myself, it was like, you have to learn. If you don't know how to be patient, you're going to learn how to be patient. You're going to learn how to adjust to the environment that you're in.
Exactly.
And make the most of it. Because if you cannot, you shouldn't be traveling. Okay.
Yes.
If you don't know how to stop, reassess, read the room, and be like, okay, so here's how we're going to have to handle this, because how it might have gone down maybe in my home country, whether it's US or wherever, is not how it's going to go down around the world in other places.
It's true. No, you're right, Yolanda. It's like a reminder. They will remind you, you're not as important as you thought you were. The world does not revolve around you.
Yeah.
Go somewhere.
I'm important in my own way. Absolutely. I'm amazingly important. I am president, CEO of myself in my world.
In my world.
Outside of that, they're like, nope. What was the one that I've had? It's like, sometimes I'll try to like speak Spanish and break out my Google Translate, and by the time I pull up the app, the person that's trying to talk to me has walked away. They're like, "No, I don't feel like dealing with you." Okay.
Yeah, not today. They're like, not today. I don't have time.
Yes. So what is your idea? What for you when you say you found luxury? I know you said like they have to have a house cleaner. What are some of the other ways of whether you're pet sitting or traveling that you're like luxury experiences that you expect and that you need?
That I need? Well, okay, before I answer that, I am gonna say that, my whole brand is that it's the small things that are luxury. So I want us to disconnect from the idea that it's a brand, or it's like having certain clothes, or it's like having the fancy vacation that you spent 20,000 on. Luxury is not any of that. I mean, you can use some of that if you want, but that's not the true luxury in life. So the true luxuries, such as like having time, having peace and calm, internal calm, having fabulous friends, right? Like having a life of intention, that is the luxury in life. Like once you get there, you're like, all this other, it's funny because once you get there, the other stuff that you don't care so much about comes anyway, right? It comes anyway.
Yes.
It comes anyway. So I'm saying that first. And then for house sitting though, it is really, because I have a very strong, high expectation for myself as a house sitter, and how clean and neat I am and how I care for items. It's going to be a house cleaner. And if they don't come at least once a week, if they allow me to come, like to pay I'm not opposed to having to pay to have them come more if necessary, but it's really the house cleaner and usually a gardener, because I don't do yard stuff. Like I water plants, but like if you have an extensive garden, I am not a gardener. I'm there
Yeah.
for the inside of the house and then the pets. And really the other way around. I'm there for the pets and then the inside of the house. So I really expect homeowners to have the house part taken care of. And what if I'm there and they have already had that taken care of, when they return, they return, it's going to be like I was never there. Like it's going to be
Yeah.
the same level because that's how I live at home. So
Mhm.
so yeah, that's really it. I mean, I like to have, it's really the clean environment. And then luxury can mean a lot of different things. If it's a place that's hot, it might be a pool, right? If I don't want to leave the location. If it's a place with a dog and I want to be in an area that I don't want to have to walk the dog all the time, it might be that they have a nice yard, right? So I
Yeah.
can just stay on property. Um, it's not always about like the view or whatever. It could just be their apartment is located in a fabulous neighborhood. Like the last one I had, it didn't have like any specific view in Mexico. It had a view, like you could see the mountains when it wasn't hazy, but I really wasn't there for the view. It was the fact that it was a great spacious apartment, had a great balcony in a neighborhood that had everything I could ever want within walking distance.
Yeah.
And just in like a local neighborhood. It was a mix of expats and still Mexican neighborhood. So it was like, you get the Mexican family that owns the house down the street having a party, but you also have every little coffee shop that's so cute within like 2 blocks, and then thrift stores. So it was, and to me, that's luxury because it's providing everything I need right there, like right there.
Yeah. I get
Hmm.
it. I get it. Yeah. I don't necessarily need luxury. I need comfort. Well,
Mm.
I need the place to be clean. Okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You need
Yeah.
it to be clean. Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
don't need no surprises. But like, so when I did my pet sit in Portugal, something that I did not even ask and didn't even think about because I guess I had gotten a little spoiled here in Spain,
Yeah.
um, was, do you have radiators? The place the
Oh,
visit that I did in Lisbon, that was my first
yeah.
time doing a pet sit in Portugal. I was in Lisbon, loved it. I was there for a week. I had a great time meeting up with some other wonderful Black people. It was really cool. I did not ask about if they have a radiator.
Yeah.
It didn't even, and I think that it was mentioned because usually I think that I'm like in Houston and actually here and stuff, it's like I would automatically ask, like, what does your heating situation look like? I didn't think
Right.
about it, and it
Yeah.
just skipped me. And yeah, there's no radiators at all. So it was like cold. It was
It was
colder
very cold.
inside than it
Yeah.
was outside. And she's like, oh, and I remember her saying, I have a space heater. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that space heater didn't do crap. Okay. I was I was so cold. Like when you get angry because you're so cold. I was trying to work. I couldn't even focus.
Oh,
I was so
yeah,
cold
because it
and
was
just
so
like
cold.
bundled up. Yeah. And the
The
cat
space
kept
heater, so the space heater wasn't doing like the additional space
the
because
space
that's
heater
the
was
same
like,
thing
I
with.
mean, I would be like trying to lean into it. And it's funny because there was a cat and two dogs, and the cat would go and sit right in front of the space heater. And I was like, and I would touch the grid, and I was like, that's hot. Get away, cat. And the cat was cold.
The cat was cold.
Okay.
Even the bed was cold.
The
Like she's
cat
trying to
was
freeze
cold. I
us
was like,
out.
you're gonna
She's
get a
trying to
freaking
freeze
burn
us
on
out.
your fur. Move away and give me my heat. But so the
That's
cat
but
was taking
no,
my heat away.
but that's right. So that's that. Like you're talking about comfort. That's the same thing with Mexico and air conditioning, though.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to have air conditioning, and that's because it rarely gets hot. But in San Miguel de Allende, it may actually get sometimes hot, and you may want air
Mhm.
or fan. So same thing with Mexico. Like, and then Mexico City, no heater. I had space heaters at the last one. Now her space heaters were great though, but yeah,
Yeah.
space heaters, but not asking about that stuff because we're just not used to
Yeah.
asking about it. Yeah, and I
And
don't, I don't.
so I didn't even
You,
mention it when I did my review. I didn't even mention it because it's like I was like, girl, you should have asked. But
right.
man, I'm telling you, I was freezing in there. I was like, get me the heck up out of here.
That's
Pets were
yeah.
wonderful. Everything else was, well, besides another
Well,
thing I'm not going to go into. Check out, if you want to know, go check out my Lisbon vlog that I did while I was there.
vlog.
Yeah, just go back in there. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, I had like 3 more questions. I know that I don't know if you're really pressed for time right now, or we need to.
I am not, because I'm going to be honest. Whenever we finish, I'm probably going to get a snack and then I need to do some work. But that's like on my own time, so I can sit here and answer questions.
It's like it's 6:30 there, so it's like 1:30 in the morning here. And after I finish this recording, because I'm not going to just go straight to sleep, because clearly I'm awake, and so I'm probably not going to go to bed until like maybe 3 or 4.
No,
Yeah.
Yolanda, I feel like I told you I feel so bad. I was like, let's do earlier in the day.
I just felt like I got to do it. I feel like I don't know, something about the Sunday one. I'm like, I got to do it. I think it's good to go live on Sundays. Now, I'm probably going to stop doing the lives. I think I told you this, but I'm probably going to stop doing the lives on Wednesday because I can't do both. Yeah. I'm probably just going to post something on Wednesday. But yeah, I feel like Sunday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time is like a really good time. And even though there will be times that I will do a pre-record and just post it as a live, I'm telling you now, it is what it is.
Okay. Okay. It's still good. You still getting the content out. Yes. That's all that matters. That's all.
Yeah, I'm locating my cozy.
Okay. There you go. There you go. Yes. And I saw that the educator at Wellness Journey, she said it's black because it's blackened. Oh, it's Kayla in Dallas.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I need girl. I know, like she over here with a new name. I didn't know who it was. I'm gonna need you to now. Look, now we're gonna get real casual. I need you to drop the recipe if you have one, or send me the WhatsApp. We're on WhatsApp. She on WhatsApp with us. Send me and Yolanda. Yolanda wants it too, and she didn't even ask. Send us the recipe. Send us the recipe. That's why she knows, because she's a Spanish instructor.
Oh, okay, girl. Release the info. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna need that. Okay, so continue.
Let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and go through a couple of questions really fast that people are in here. And this is Nichelle Gaynor says, maybe I missed it, but is there a country you are considering for a permanent move, or will you just bop around and slow travel?
Oh, okay. I feel like, Nichelle, have we been in chats together before? Because I feel like your name is so familiar. Like on somebody else's channel or something like that. But
she's supporting all the sisters.
So her name is super familiar. For right now, so we were considering a permanent move to Portugal. Then with the tax changes, we're kind of in a holding pattern, and we're deciding if we want to do somewhat less than 6 months in Portugal because of tax reasons, and 6 months in Mexico. So we may do like hybrid. So right now we are considering a permanent move, but not like in the next year. We're thinking maybe 2 years. Right now we'll consider, we'll keep bopping or slow traveling, but we do still have the base here in Texas, our home here in Texas. And so I just I don't know. It seems like it's been on like a 45-day thing. I'll go for like 2 or 3 weeks and then come back for 45 days and then go for 2 or 3 weeks and come back for 45 days. That's kind of what it's been like.
Go to you when you do that? Or do you...
Sometimes he goes.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes he goes. He didn't go to the Mexico one in December because he had been to Mexico in November. So
he's like, okay, I'm done. You go, love. Okay.
Yeah, he was like, he had some friends that wanted to go to Cabo. And so, it was like a meetup from like the guys he knew in Virginia and a guy that lives I think he has family in Colombia. So it was kind of like a meetup spot, right, for the guys. And so they wanted to do that. I was very happy. The long story short, I'm so glad that their trip happened, because it looked like it wasn't going to happen because they kept moving it and all. And I was like, this man need to go on a trip. He needs some friends that know how to plan. Y'all need to get y'all, because Yolanda, how long would it take us to plan a trip? Girl. 2 seconds.
Yep. Once I sit down, it's like, okay, and here's our itinerary. Yeah. Got you.
We're done. We already bought flights. Oh, okay. Yeah. But it wasn't like that. So I was so happy that it happened. Well, because he went and did that and they were there, I think they were there like a week or a little over a week. By the time he came back, and then it was time for me to go to Mexico City. And I was like, hey, you can go with me. And he was like, you're good. Go. And you're doing all these medical
like,
things too. Going to the doctor, you got all these appointments.
Oh yeah.
And you working to death too? Yeah, no.
So let me see. She had, let's see here. Oh, I was just the luxury bucket list. I have to make sure I'm always looking at that because I'm like, the luxury bucket list is not the same person. Because when I first saw her handle, I was like, when did you check her name? Wow. Okay.
There's a lot of luxury out there, and that's perfectly fine.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. She said, I got my, she said she got her membership for, the Trusted House Sitters. And now she's trying to, she's trying to convince her husband to try it in the UK. This is when we gotta leave Italy. Oh, after 90 days.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's the easy. Oh, she's so right though. Like that's the easy one because there's like 1,000 house sits over there. Like you could fall out of bed and get a house sit in the UK.
Oh my god.
That's what I'm saying in the UK, and you have to leave Italy and after your 90 days is up. That's like pressing the easy button. Like, I mean, unless I don't know, does he not like the UK or he wants to go back to the US? I don't know. She didn't say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has their story about, either just the convincing, maybe the other partner. Okay. That's the process.
House sitting is different. So when I see people that I put it this way, I understand when people have an apprehension to house sitting. I get it, especially any of us from the United States, because we don't deal with relationships like that as far as like having people in our home and right. Like we barely have front porches anymore. We don't talk to neighbors. We don't do none of that. So it is a stretch especially for those of us from the United States. I'll say people from other countries, it is not even a thing. It's not a thing.
Yeah.
It's not even, they don't think twice about having a house sitter or being a house sitter or like staying in a hostel. It's not a thing for them. That's the thing for us.
Now, I will say again, as far as my pet sits that I have done or the people that I've like put in applications for, it doesn't seem there's more pet sits now in Spain, but before it looked like if they were locals, they were like, no, very much one, you had to speak Spanish, or they were like, no, we want somebody that we know. So, but again, because there's so many people that are moving to Europe right now, it's a lot more sits.
Yes.
Whether it's, and also just know people, you don't have to, it doesn't necessarily have to be a pet sit. So, there's a wide array of options, from, the 5 horses and 2 goats and a cow to just a house full of plants or,
exactly.
They just want you to water the garden.
They just say they want you to water. It's true. There's a little bit of everything out there. And so that's one thing, like I haven't been able to take advantage yet of the long-term sits in Mexico that are like, we don't have any pets. We're just gone for 2 months. So I haven't gotten to that point yet because that would definitely be where I'd want to know my husband is coming for a significant part of the time to enjoy that too, because that's a very long sit. And then I know for myself, it would have to be in a space that I'm okay to be there for 2 months straight.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I don't want to sit out I'm a city person. I'm city. So there's no way I'm going out to some, beautiful chalet or whatever stuff out where, that I don't see anybody for I have to walk 5 miles into town. I'm not doing that. Just not happening.
Let's say what happened to Yolanda. We haven't seen her. She's just been.
Yeah.
She's out.
No, I need y'all to lay eyes on me. Okay.
Yes. No, it's true. It's true though. It's true though. Oh, when we were talking about the house sitting, this is adjacent conversation, but the house sitting and what we need. I do enjoy a really good bed, and I wish more house sitters would talk about the state of the mattress or that the homeowner would say that, because I am not a sleep on a trundle bed type. So when I see in the picture and they have the extra room and it's it's a twin bed, or it might be a trundle, and not that the house is not clean or whatever, but it's definitely the spare room. I'm
Mhm.
not a spare room type of person.
You see my face.
And Michelle is trying to bait me, because she said, how are the houses in the UK? Like France. See, you see that? And she
Oh,
tried to bait me. She's trying to bait me. I'm not gonna say anything. No, yeah, it's so you just have to know what you're good with, right, Yolanda?
I'm a couch surfer. I'm a couch surfer. That's I think of I've done over 50 pet sits now.
Mm,
I think I've probably slept in maybe 4 beds. I'm a couch surfer.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, and I've never met anybody that's like done long term. I've never met any one of us that has couch
Mm,
surfed for a long time. I've met some other people that don't look like us who have couch surfed, and they're
yeah.
and they're younger. So see, that's another part of your story that is totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't feel comfortable sleeping in someone's bed.
See,
And
okay, that was a hurdle my husband had to get over.
yeah.
Meaning
So
sometimes.
well, for a couple of reasons. One is comfort. I've tried, a couple of times when I was like, oh, this looks nice, and you get on and it's like, oh no, because I'm a thick chick that likes to sleep on her back, so I don't need the bed to be hard. Cannot.
You're like, this is
That
not
is
gonna work.
uncomfortable. Okay.
It's not gonna work.
Um, so yeah, I usually will find most comfort in on the couch. And
Okay.
it's funny because like my last pet sit in Portugal, like the dogs, like they had their thing that covered the couch and
Okay.
stuff. And I was like, okay, well, y'all can go sleep in that bed in there because that bedroom was cold. I had the spare, the bedroom was cold and stuff. And I was
Oh
like, I'm not
yeah.
sleeping in there. And
No.
and plus there was no, yeah, that's just I had to set up camp on the couch. And
Yeah.
so
And
I
it's
took
warmer there.
their
And it was
covering
warmer.
off and everything. The couch was nice, and the couch was nice and comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's my
So
jam.
you just have to know. That's the thing. But I tell people, that's why I say, you look at my name. I'm not like shy about like where I'm looking for. Like, oh, I forgot
Mhm.
to tell you, I also had alerts on for Greece, because there's a couple of houses in Greece that I'm like, y'all need to call me.
Ooh.
Y'all need to call me. Y'all need to call me, because I have not been there yet. And yes, and your property looks like it is calling me to come and watch your dog.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
okay. The question through your journey of letting go of things to be able to receive new adventures and new ways of life stuff. Have you had any relationships that have fallen by the wayside because of any conversation that just was like, you know what? And it doesn't have to necessarily be a negative conversation, but have you had any relationships that just kind of fell by the wayside a little bit? Like, you know what? Maybe our relationship won't end, but I will never be talking to you about this.
Well, I think I'll say this honestly, what has been difficult about the relationship issue is, and it's not an issue, it's just something that happens when you move a lot. And you probably experienced this yourself, is that I had people that I genuinely knew and were friends with, like when I worked in an office, and I enjoyed the company with those people. But now I'm like I'm doing something totally different, and I'm not still enough
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
make the extra effort to keep that connection going. There's nothing wrong with the people. There's nothing wrong. You know what I mean? Like there's at all. But I tell people that they say, oh, managing relationships is hard. I said, what's harder than managing relationships is keeping and fostering good relationships, because it takes effort. And then when you're traveling and you're meeting so many wonderful people, Yolanda,
Hmm.
you're meeting so much. So then you're meeting this person and you're trying to foster this, and then you're trying to keep in touch with them. Like I still have a list of people in Portugal that I've talked through. I haven't been there, and it's going on. When I go this summer, it'll be 2 years since my husband and I were there the
Hmm.
first time. I have still talked to these people on WhatsApp for 2 years, right? They're like waiting for me to come back. So it's just that you only have so much energy and you can only foster so many relationships. And I feel like for a while, I felt like I was like, oh, I should be doing more. And it's kind of like, no, that kind of comes with the territory, right? Like
Yeah.
you really have to like be really super intentional about creating that time when you're moving a lot. And so when I'm in Texas, I try to get together with I try to get together with some people that live here. But what's funny is I'm trying more to get together with other people who travel who are based in Houston and are home, because we don't like you're in Asia and then yeah, we're both from Texas. We'll never see each other, right? Because we're on different sides of the world. So now my focus has been more of like Texas people are home. It's the holidays. Y'all want to do a co-working before everybody is gone in 3 weeks, right? Like it's a little bit different. So I would say that's the only thing. It's more like, it's not like I'm not going to talk to this person anymore. It's more like I don't have enough space, right? It's like I don't have enough space and a new lifestyle for people. Now there's a few people that I didn't have super close relationships with, but back then I didn't have close relationships with, but that was for a reason. Like we had different, we wanted different things anyway. And like one of my girlfriends used to laugh at me because I would be the person in the office that if I come into your office, like Yolanda, we working at the same company, and like you're unhappy, and here comes Jenee, Miss, optimistic, change your life person. And every time, and we're friends, but every time you see me, you start talking, and I'm like, you can't tell me about this another time. Either fix it, leave this job, or talk to somebody else about it. And we stayed friends, right? We stayed friends. But when you start to be like, because I can't be in that energy, like I want to be with you, but I can't be with you in that energy, then, you don't spend as much time together, even though you love that person. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Side note, I just remember, who was that? It's because Stephanie Perry had interviewed the ladies this weekend that were talking about the toxic job. And one thing was like the lady was saying like the way that it affects you because you're like constantly talking about it and your friends don't want to hear that all the time. And I was like, that's how I was with my last 2 full-time jobs. I was like, every time my friends or I talked to my kids and it's like I was complaining, I was like, it didn't even dawn on me of all the things of how that impacted me. I was like, I was complaining. Like, I'm sure they were sick of hearing that. Like, I don't want to talk to you right now. Girl, damn job. Okay.
but a lot of times people, and they may have not been. I'll say this, Yolanda. A lot of times people are feeling the same pain. So they kind of feed off of that. And it's like, okay, you were ranting about your job. It's my turn to rant about my job, right? Like, let's do it together. And I feel you because I've been there, but at a certain time, that's where that shift happened, where it was like, and nobody's going to change your life but you type thing, Jenee. And if you hear yourself complaining a lot, then you need to do something about it, because ain't nobody want to hear that. And then when I didn't want to hear it from myself, I ain't hearing from nobody else either. I used to, one of my girlfriends, when we were in that like breaking period where we were like both in corporate and we were, okay, we're going to do these, readjust our life together. We went through a phase where she was in like upper management, and she used to have a lot of emotional stuff to dump about that. Mm-hmm. And we got to the point where we became friends, and I used to be like, you have 20 minutes. I would tell her, you have 20 minutes. And she would just, and then it got to, you have 5 minutes. And she said she started using, and then it went to, we can't do that no more, right? But it was like weaning them off of that. And she said recently she had a friend outside of corporate, because she's outside of corporate now, right, too. She reimagined her life. She's doing something totally different. She had a friend, and she said she recently told a friend that. A friend started ranting about something, right? And she told a friend, I'll give you 10 minutes to tell me what you need to tell me about this. And she said the friend didn't talk to her for about, I don't know, a good month or month and a half after they had that conversation. Because they couldn't, you know what I mean? Like, she was like, I can't believe she told me. That. But then the lady just came back. She said the friend just came back around and like had invited her to a party or whatever. But it took some time to sink in, right? Because when you're saying that, what you're saying is, do you hear yourself? Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's really what you're saying. You're like, I'm going to give you 10 minutes to say what you need to say. As a courtesy, girl, as a courtesy.
And then after
But
that, you need to go see a therapist. Talk to your therapist. Okay.
thank you. Thank you. Go do something about that. You need to do that. I'm not the one. You're not paying me by the hour for this. No.
Yeah,
No.
because like we don't have to. I don't want to do a sliding scale fee. I'm going to charge you whatever whatever your therapist will be charging you. Okay. Okay.
Yes. Yes. So I don't know how we got
So
off on
what
that, but yeah.
doors do you feel like? And I know we probably hit on this, but like, do you feel like because of this journey, do you feel like some other doors have opened that's allowing you to experience even more? Like by taking the first few steps of starting this journey of the travel, of the pet sitting, it's going to be about me right now. What what do you feel like has been the greatest opportunity that's come into your life?
Oh, the greatest opportunity. I don't know. Probably the easiest thing to say would be like, it's given me a chance to evaluate like everything in my life and everything that I want to bring in and everything I don't want to have. Like, it's kind of
Mhm.
like you get to reshop your life again. Like, I don't want that anymore. And it's easy to say that in this new environment. Like, I don't want to have friends like that. And I don't have to. Who told me that? Nobody
Yeah.
except me. I've decided. Right. Or like, I don't know. This year I'm going to change up my style and go like a completely different, direction because I can. Right. Like, so
Yeah.
I think what I found is that I am more, and I think I've shared this. I think I probably have shared this with you with our conversations at some of the meetups, but I am definitely more sure about myself. I am definitely more sure about myself, more than I've ever been. I don't mean, and I tell people that doesn't mean you won't make the right decisions all the time. It has nothing to do with that. I can make the wrong decisions, but be sure that I know that I made the decision and I'm okay with what comes from it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I made it because of me. So probably the best thing that came from it is that like the surety of like, this is these are the things that I'm enjoying, and even if I just enjoy them for now, at least I make the decisions that I like to make for myself. And it just, I don't know, and it's been, I think, another thing too, it kind of like, this is a side thing, is it's inspiring the other people without trying to be inspiring. Like, I'm not trying to inspire other people by things that I do in my
Mhm.
life. I'm just doing it because it produces this. It
Yeah.
produces
I'm just
the person
sharing.
that
I'm just
you see.
sharing the experience. It's like, I
I'm
mean,
just
take it. I hope that you get some
sharing.
jewels, some kind of insight, but that's not why I do. That's not why I'm doing it.
No, I want you to
Okay.
open your box. Like, this is my gift, right? I open the gift, and this is what you get. You get this Jenee. You get this version of
Yes.
Jenee because I opened my gift. I want you to open your gift. I want you to open your
I
gift and
like
show me
that.
what you got. Show me what you
I
got. I want
like
to see.
that.
I want to see that person. So,
Just
so
really
that's
fast,
probably
two
what
more
came
things.
from it.
So, Melanie
Good.
said, my friend and I call it the BMW, bitch, moan, and whine. We gave each other 5 minutes, and after 5 minute listening, decided if you needed more time. I like that
Yes, I like
structure.
that. Yes.
Here's the rules of this conversation. Okay.
Exactly. You got to have some rules. You got to have some rules. I feel like there was some more. Look, I'm trying to look at the questions. I felt like there were some more questions, but
Let's see. Well, one I was going to
we're
say to
just
you,
talking about
when we talked about the importance of, trying to like maintain the relationships, Halisi said something, and I don't know when this was, but I remember it was very intentional of scheduling time with people that matter the most with you. So now I have a schedule like
yeah.
to my sisters,
Hmm.
for my daughters, and for some other family members. Like whether it's a weekly call to some
Okay.
people, or
Yes.
you're on the calendar for once a month. Like my life sisters, I have some of them on my calendar once a month on a
Oh
Sunday
yeah.
morning. It's like that's the time that we're going to sit down and talk, because we're all living and doing things. And so
Exactly.
yeah, and I thought that was really good. And I remember when I first said that to my sister, one of my sisters, about doing the schedule and stuff, and she was like, "So you're gonna put me on a calendar?" I said, "Yes, you're busy as hell. I'm busy as hell. Let's commit to at least talking every 2 weeks at this time of
Yeah.
day. Now, does it always happen? No. But at least it's on the forefront that you're on my calendar. You're important enough that I actually have put you on my calendar to make sure I'm putting time
Yes.
aside for you.
Yes.
It's a good
It's
thing.
true. I mean, you have to, it doesn't sound like exciting to put somebody on a calendar, but we all know how it is to be like, oh, we're going to do coffee, or we're going to get together for lunch, or we're going to, and a month later, it ain't happened. A year later,
Mhm.
it hasn't happened. And the next thing you know, like, the relationship, you're like rebuilding.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yes, I understand that, we all have those friends that, or most of us have some friends that we may not talk for a year. And it's like picking up, it's like, and it's not like no time has been lost, but I still want to be intentional with some people in
Exactly.
my life to make sure that we are checking in to say and truly ask, how are you doing?
Exactly.
And not
Exactly.
that, superficial answer. I'm fine. I mean, like, no, how are you doing?
Right, right. Because a year is a
It's-
long time. A year is a
Yes.
long, because so even if we haven't talked in a year, and like you said, it's like we talked yesterday, meaning
Hmm.
the way that we can, the vibe with each other and
Reconnect.
all
Yeah.
that and reconnect. You've been through a lot in a year, and I've been through a lot in a year. And
Hmm.
maybe, like you said, during that time, I could have used that phone call or that coffee chat
Yeah.
during that time.
Yeah.
But that time has
Yeah.
passed now because we can't get it on a calendar.
Yes. I needed you, and I understand that you couldn't be there, but yeah, yeah.
It's
So
past.
and then
It's past.
the other thing I was gonna say was just when you're talking about coming back and staying connected with the people in our community, because we're a member of the Exodus Summit community, and we actually have a WhatsApp group for the Texas sisters, for the women of Texas that are looking to move. And no, it's not open to the public. Okay, so just yes, but if you know me and you're in Texas or you're moving to Texas and you need the support of Black women that are just dreaming bigger and want to do things and want to and need and just want to show and give show and receive support, hit me up. But when I do come back, possibly for a week or 2 weeks and everything, I'm expecting a
Right.
parade. I'm expecting. I'm like, when I come back to Texas, they'll be throwing flowers at my feet. Yeah, girl. Yeah.
It's okay.
Anyway,
Yes, there will be a get together when you come back. I hope I
yeah,
am here. Unless you
yes.
come in the summer, then I hope I'm not here.
Yeah. Well, we'll
My
see. I'm not
goodness.
sure yet and stuff. I still got plans. I got some
Okay.
things going on and stuff. So we're working on things. Is there anything else that you wanted to add? I feel like I don't usually go 2 hours, girlfriend. So you hidden. What's up?
It's probably storytelling. It's probably storytelling. I got you up late, and then you got your second win, and then now we talking about everything. Talking about everything.
Yes. Yes.
But anything else? Let me see on letting go. I don't, you know what? Honestly, I don't know if there's anything else to add. I will add again, and I'm sure you will drop it in the description of, like, I have the life hack starter guide. That is
It's already
also
in
a
the
way.
description. It's already in the description. Her Instagram is already in the description. Her
The
YouTube channel is already in the
Instagram,
description. It's
follow
there.
me there. Yeah, and so there's a lot of stuff for 2025. Oh, this almost forgot. Almost forgot. Okay. This year, and somebody asked this, this year I turn 52. I will turn 52. And so
Oh
I've
yeah.
decided, yeah,
Yeah.
this year I will turn 52. And so there's 52 weeks in a year. So I've decided to do a reimagine and reveal yourself in 52 weeks. And so it's just going to be part of it's going to be integrated in my YouTube channel. So every week there will be something to help you either reimagine your life, reveal parts of yourself for the next 52 weeks, because I'm going to be turning 52 and you guys can come right along with me. I want to see everybody make some, changes
Aw.
of their
I
own
was
this,
planning on
this
doing something not that, but something similar and stuff, but now I don't want to mention it. But anyways, okay.
now you don't want to mention it. It's going to come out later. You're going to come back with it or whatever. But yeah.
So
But yeah, just because my birthday is I'm going to be 52. I didn't know, like, you know how it sneaks up on you. I was like, oh, I'm
yeah,
going to be 52. And, but this is a way that, like, I can share it with everyone. So you'll see some changes on my YouTube channel, but just come, and, like, some are going to be really relaxed talks where I'm walking around the lake, which I did one of those
I saw that. Yeah.
before or New Year's Eve. I did that. And so it's just gonna be more of hopefully more of me talking to everybody more consistently to help them along.
Okay.
So that's it.
Right. Well, it has been such an honor to have you on here. This is like real girlfriend chat. I mean, like, yes. I went through and found all the pictures and everything from like our first time we met in March 2023 and
Yes.
all the different gatherings that we've done, different meetups that we've done in Texas and everything. And I was like, oh my gosh. So um, I think I'm getting a little delirious now. So I am going to be ending soon, but I did want to make
Yes.
sure that in here, it's in the description, but also here is where you can actually sign up to get emails, because I'm going to speak it into existence. I do want to do another meetup in Spain in mid-April.
Hmm.
So get on my emails. Get the subscription. It's also going to provide you with a nice little moving to Spain checklist that's going to give you some great information for if you're considering moving over here. It doesn't have to be Madrid. It doesn't have to be Zaragoza. I get it. But yeah, if you're looking at considering Spain as an option, there's a lot of great information, including my attorney's contact information. So yes, sign up for that list. And then finally, I wanted to say, I will be going live this Wednesday. I have a very, very amazing guest that's going to be on. It's my first time interviewing. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of, maybe say something like it's one of like the founders of Exodus Summit. So I would love for you guys to come. It's going to be at noon on this Wednesday. And so get ready. So you know what? This was a prep for for a live with one of them, because theirs always go like 2 or 3 hours.
Oh, they do. Yeah. Now you're gonna be good. You're gonna be good. You don't know what you need. Yes.
So yes, but yeah, please do sign up. Oh my goodness, Jenee, this was so great. I feel like I still had so many other, things to say and questions to ask and all that stuff. So yes, she'll be back.
Oh,
Okay.
I look, I appreciate you having me. And I was like, and she's staying up late for me. And I was just like, I always feel like this, like you were interviewing me, but I'd be like, I'd be wanting her to talk. I just want her to I just want Yolanda to talk. Just talk.
Oh, yeah, I just be talking about a whole bunch of stuff and stuff. But yes, that's how I roll. Well, guys, thank you so much. This has been amazing. I hope that this 2-hour session of hanging out with me and Jenee is going to actually inspire you to have the most beautiful week this week. Whatever you have to do, go and handle it boldly and with pride, and know that you are doing your absolute best, and pat yourself on the back and be like, yes, woohoo, I did it. Yes. Okay. Much love, guys. Let me see. How the hell do I get out of here? I never do know how to get out. Let's see. Okay. Bye. Wait a minute. Hold up. See, I already messed it up. Okay. Hold on, girl.